I'm balancing on a bunch of pillows because I really like the shot, but I don't. It's this couch will just like suck you into it. And it's like, well, I gotta look like I'm standing up. Season 4 is an odd beast. I would hesitate in calling it truly bad, but there are cracks in the foundation that we're starting to see here that are only going to get worse as we continue into Season 5 and then Season 6. Incidentally, it is now time for us to do our penultimate mid-season intermission. So for those of you who are watching this video without the last one, I started this tradition in the first iCarly video where in between every season, I would kind of step to the side and talk about stuff that is interesting to me but doesn't really fit into the main series analysis. And the purpose behind this is to kind of build a separation between the info that I'm giving to you, so you sort of understand which information came from which season, and you start to take it in like people would have when they were kids. And arguably, there hasn't been a time more fitting for an intermission than right now, because the Season 4 cliffhanger was the show's first real hiatus, where you had to wait a significant amount of time to see what would happen next. I imagine half of you right now are kind of going, yes, the cliffhanger, what happens next? And then the other half of you are like, wait, what cliffhanger? Because the moment that I mentioned the child sweatshop, Sam and Freddy kissing was just wiped from your mind. To be fair, Sam and Freddy have kissed before, okay? But they ain't never opened a child sweatshop together before. So, hashtag relationship goals. So for this intermission, I don't have a lot of consistent content to give you guys, to be honest. So I thought we'd just kind of circle back around to a few topics that we haven't, properly covered before. You guys might have noticed this. I got a little haircut this week. And, I'm thinking right now, if that pandemic can just lighten its load a little, I'm ready to get out there, I'm ready to see the sights, meet the people, have some adventures. And, if I'm going to be out there, if I'm going to be doing that, then I think I'm going to need the iCarly perfume and the iCarly cologne. These are entirely real. I did not make these up. You could go out and buy these a decade ago. I don't know where. I don't know who would have sold these. But clearly someone did, because you can really easily find them on eBay. Yeah, so this is Click. This is the iCarly perfume. It comes in this little bottle, and there's Carly on the side of the bottle there. And then, of course, over here we have the iCarly cologne. That's a little more basic visually. The first thing I thought of when I saw these was the love story that could happen here. Two people walking down the street, not even looking up from their shoes. They pass each other, and then they just stop. And they turn, and they just stare at each other in disbelief. Are you wearing the iCarly perfume? Yes. Are you wearing the iCarly cologne? Yes. I mean, I can't imagine anything more romantic. This is a bad time to tell you guys that I have mild anosmia. I swear to God, it just smells like soap and hand sanitizer. That's all I'm picking up. I don't know why, but I presumed that when you put on the iCarly cologne, it somehow makes you think about the internet. But in a way, I think it would have to smell pretty bad to make you think of the internet. Okay, next is the iCarly perfume. A lot more boost in that one. A lot easier to spray. This makes me think of a public restroom at a pool. Like a restroom at a public pool. Not inside the restroom, like directly outside the restroom, right? So I'm going to recap these for you. The iCarly cologne smells like rubbing alcohol. The iCarly perfume smells like a swimming pool. Okay, so the next thing we want to move on to real quick, now that we've got that complete boredom out of the way, is I wanted to circle back around to the McDonald's iCarly Happy Meals. Now, there were two of these, one in 2010 and one in 2011, and there were a lot of toys released inside. So what I ended up doing is I bought a big plastic bag on eBay that's just filled with these toys, most of them unopened, okay? It's a little stoplight. I don't know why this was in an iCarly Happy Meal set and not a Mr. Rogers Happy Meal set or whatever. But, I mean, that's the thing. Is there a stoplight on the iCarly set? I don't know if there is. Next, we got this right here. I'll go ahead and open this. This is a visual representation of the car seat that Carly has in her home there, and it's got a little weird toaster thing. What does this say? Oh, it says random dancing. So it's like, oh, there they are sitting in their car, right? They're sitting in their car, and look, oh, now they got a random dance. A lot of this stuff is based around like kind of the stuff that Carly has around her apartment. Like this is a little gummy bear, and inside are like some stickers and a pencil that I just dropped. Like, to be honest with you, if I was a kid and I saw this, I would never think iCarly. Because I know they have like a bunch of these dogs on their set. It just doesn't read iCarly to me. Like, what is just a dog? One of the things in this set is like a little gumball Tom Servo head. And even as an adult, I don't know what this has to do with iCarly. I know there's a little piece of paper here. Pull that out, what happens? Oh my god, look at that. Here's what it has to do with iCarly. It's a bunch of stickers on a roll. And when you pull Tom Servo's tongue out, you can pull off some of these stickers. You see that? This is, of course, like the thing that I think you had to go and get this McDonald's set for, and that's Baby Spencer. I mean, Baby Spencer, this is actually the only Spencer toy they ever made, I think. And the great thing about this is there's this little hole at the top, and I think the idea is you can put your own face into the Baby Spencer toy and make your own baby version of yourself. McDonald's really was a gamble, though, because, I mean, sometimes you just get like this. Like some what is this? What is this? Okay. Turn it on. I don't know. This probably did something a decade ago. As some final things, we got a little mouse pad and a magic meatball toy. This, I believe, used to do stuff, but I imagine it doesn't work. I bought a few of these and none of them have worked. Yeah, this doesn't work. And, that's it. I know I might seem really bummed, right about here, and that's because I am. Because it's really weird to work on a project like this for so long, and then to realize that you're like so close to just wrapping it up. Because after this is the next to last intermission. So after this, it's a season, then a final intermission, and then a season, and then we're done. And I guess I'm just kind of bummed because, I mean, this is it. And I just couldn't think of any other iCarly eccentricities to tell you guys about. So I bought Freddy's camera. You guys want to talk about that for a second? This is the Canon XL1. I'm not sure quite what year it came out, but the most important thing about this model of camera is that for the entirety of the original run of iCarly, this was the prop that Freddy used when he was filming his webcast. Now, immediately, there's going to be two things that you're going to recognize are missing from this certain prop. The first thing is the microphone. There's a little microphone holder right here, and on Freddy's camera and most XL1s, there's typically like a microphone that connects up to the camera right here. I thought about buying one. It would not have been difficult, but the thing is, that's entirely an aesthetics thing. I'm not actually going to be, using a microphone with this camera, so I figured it probably just wasn't worth the hassle or the money. And now the second thing that's missing is what I call the glow stick. On the back of Freddy's camera right here, there is a little cylindrical light, and inside the iCarly universe, that is supposed to basically represent Freddy's Bluetooth technology that he uses. That is what makes the camera wireless.
And let me establish a cross-duplex transmission between my laptop and my camera.
Wow, a tech-talking witch boy.
You'll take note as a comparison that when Freddy is using the camera at the start of the pilot, that light is missing, and that's because he properly has it hooked up, and thus he doesn't need a wireless connection. But for the rest of the series, he uses this handheld, and thus he has, that technology on board, so it can just be something he kind of walks around the room with. I have so much I want to tell you guys about this camera. I have so many things to say about it, but there is one specific thing, okay? There's one specific thing that I feel like is the perfect thing to go ahead and break the ice. Okay, so here it is. Have you ever noticed that Freddy's camera has a little silver box right here? Okay? Have you ever wondered what that is? It's a tape deck. Freddy's camera runs on cassettes. Now, don't you feel like your whole life has been a lie? Despite the fact that iCarly tries to get you to subconsciously believe that this is some extremely advanced piece of HD technology, this camera is the kind of thing you would find in the media room of an underfunded high school. I mean, to be honest with you, this thing is basically one step above a VHS camera, and I'm being very kind when I say that. I'm just really, really amused by the idea of them bringing this in on, like, when they were making the show, and someone being like, you can't have that be the camera they're using to shoot their HD web show. And then someone else is like, chill, dude. We're gonna stick a glow stick on the back, and every kid at home will think this is some shit from the future. I bought this on eBay, and I get it, and I'm like, they didn't clean it before they sent it to me? Because I pick it up and it's just like, it's so sticky and dirty. So, I get a bunch of cleaning materials and I clean this thing off, and there's so much dirt coming off this thing, you wouldn't believe. I mean, my paper towels are just turning black. And so I clean it and clean it and clean it, and I go, it's good to have that over with. I pick it up. It's still sticky. It's sticky right now. What I realized, this thing isn't dirty, it's disintegrating. Like, I don't know what material this is. I'm really bad at identifying materials, but it seems like some kind of like weird rubber, and it's just not lasted at all through the ages. So, to touch, this thing is just coming off on my hands. This camera is becoming one with my DNA. It is just, sometimes it is hard to rip my hand off of it because the materials are just deteriorating and becoming this, like, slick goo. I swear to God, my fingerprints are now embedded all over this camera because the material holding it together has become this, like, fluid material. You know what I mean? But the weirdest thing about messing around with this camera for so long and trying to understand it so intensely is I've realized that this is actually a realistic thing for a 13-year-old to have in 2007. And it's not good, but I totally believe someone like Freddy would end up getting this for Christmas and would, like, use the hell out of it until it stopped working. And it's kind of weird that we never actually get to see that. We never actually get to see what iCarly would look like as a webcast if it was really filmed with the camera that we see on set every single episode. Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? My hand is black! Hello everyone, and welcome to the iCarly webcast. This is it. This is the camera that Freddy uses in the show. This is what it looks like when it's really filming something, you know? Yeah, but doesn't this feel kind of realistic for something you would see on YouTube in 2008? Like this specific look. Like, not state of the art, but someone trying their best, you know what I mean? And I have to ask, once again, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, other people might do their iCarly content. Okay? But who else in the world would think to record their iCarly video with the actual camera from iCarly? The answer is this guy. He had the same idea. One thing you'll notice here is that there's this little thing flashing in the middle of the screen, and that says that there is no tape in the camera. There is a tape in the camera. This isn't a VHS camera, obviously. It's not a VHS camera, but, when I was younger, I actually tried to collect VHS cameras because I very much like this aesthetic. I think this is a cool aesthetic. So I tried to collect VHS cameras, you know what I mean? And what I found is VHS cameras were not designed to last into the 21st century for the most part. So every time I would buy a VHS camera, it would either be broken in some way that made it annoying to use, it would be entirely broken, or it would work for about 3 hours to a day. And the fault with this camera is that it is now incapable of telling if there's a tape in the machine or not. And obviously, if it can't tell if there's a tape in the machine, then it can't record very well. This whole setup makes me really nostalgic because I used to film with VHS cameras as a kid. And the funny thing is, this apartment is nothing like my childhood home, but even just seeing the walls through a VHS-like format makes me really nostalgic for where I grew up, because that's the way I remember it. I remember it through this kind of weird, grainy filter. And I like to think this is a very nice little quiet moment we've made for ourselves in the video. But I want to say that the reason I want to make this little moment in the video is that I remember iCarly Season 5 being the exact point in the series where I just didn't think it was fun to watch anymore. And I have this gut feeling that I'm going to feel exactly the same way going into it this time. From what I remember, these next few episodes, they're really mean. And they're also the episodes that we've been waiting on. And so I don't think this is going to be a fun thing for me to go through. But sadly, as we always have to say in segments like these, the only way to find out is to go ahead and get started.